Hi, hello, I'm Scout and welcome back to my channel. So I am going to be doing a book haul today. I wanted to create a series on this channel that is called like Shelf Care and is dedicated to my personal library. So that would, like those kind of videos would be like a book haul, like an unhaul, reading my physical TBR and like doing my book nook in my house. And so I'm really excited to create that series. And so I wanted to start it with a book haul because I recently have had a bunch of books come into my life. I do want to say like right off the bat, like sorry, I'm moving the books to me. I don't normally buy a lot of books, so I don't want this to seem like this is a norm for me. I usually buy like maybe 10 books a year. I don't really buy books. People usually gift me books. That's usually how I get them. So like with all this being said, like I am so grateful that these books are coming into my life. And so I wanted to kind of share that with you guys. And so I'm going to share with you the 7 books that I picked up and then the books that were gifted to me recently. And I'm going to save the books that were gifted to me to the end because I'm going to get too excited about it and then I'm not going to be able to talk anymore. Okay, so the first book that I purchased was The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I've been wanting to read this book for a really long time, and I was on a book buying ban for about a year and a half, and so I just hadn't picked it up, and I saw this illustrated edition, and I knew when I was looking at all the different versions of The Bell Jar that if I was going to own a copy of The Bell Jar, this was the copy that I wanted to own. So I chose to pick up this copy, and I'm so excited. The Bell Jar is about a woman who moves to a city and starts to kind of mentally unravel, and that is the primary story. And so I'm so excited to read this. I actually think I'm going to read it this November. I think it is such a almost kind of fall-y book. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do feel that way. It feels like a fall book. And so I think I'm going to read it this November, and I'm very, very excited to own this copy. It's so gorgeous. I love the artwork. I do know the quote. I've read a lot of excerpts from The Bell Jar, so I know I'm going to really like it because I like Sylvia Plath's writing style, but this will be my first time actually like reading the book in full length, so I'm really excited. Okay. The next book in my haul is The Ex-Wife by Ursula Parrott. So this book was actually written in 1929, and it follows a main character who gets divorced and kind of her experience with the issue as it's like kind of stigmatized during the 1920s. And I love a book that deals with a contemporary issue and like talks about like how those characters interact with it, especially when it's like written in obviously that time period. It's often kind of like easy to write about like what's it like to be an ex-wife in the 1920s when it's 2025 and you have all that hindsight and all that knowledge. But it's so much more interesting to me when you're reading it and it's like, this was written during that time period. And so I'm so excited to read this. It's also incredibly gorgeous. All the covers today are gorgeous, 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 gorgeous girls. That is because I buy all my books thrifted or from indie bookstores. This one, I got this one from an indie bookstore. I can't remember what bookstore. I got this one from an indie one, but all the rest I got from thrift books, except for the ones that were gifted to me. But all the rest are from thrift books where I can pick what cover it is, and I do judge a book by its cover. And this one is just gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful cover. So I'm very excited to read this. And I'm gonna get into my next book, which this next book isn't actually even for me. This one is for my husband. He is getting into reading, and he's currently reading Whoever Fights Monsters. He was looking through my books, and I used to read a lot of true crime. I don't read true crime anymore. And he had saw Whoever Fights Monsters, and that was really interesting to him, and he's been really liking it. And Thrift Books gave me a free book. They do it sometimes. And so I was like, why don't we pick you out a book so then you can like keep your reading journey going once you finish Whoever Fights Monsters. And so we were looking through true crime, and his worry was he didn't want to read a bad one, which like I don't know all the books in the world. Like I don't know which ones are the bad ones. And so he was like asking me like true crime books you've read. And this book popped up in there, and I was like, oh, I've read this one and it's really good. And so he ended up picking this one as his free book. So this is actually the only one besides the gifted books that I have read before. And it is The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule. So this is a nonfiction true crime book about Ted Bundy. I read this in high school. My sister loaned me her copy of it. I thought it was really, really well written. Anne Rule actually knew him in real life, which is crazy to me. And so this one is gonna go to my husband. So then he has his next read. I'm so excited for him. I love when people get into reading no matter what. So this is so exciting that he's getting back into reading. Okay, the next book is The Best of Everything by Rona Jaffe. If you know from my favorites video, I love Rona Jaffe. Mr. Right is Dead is one of my favorite books of all time. And when I was researching for that video, I wanted to make sure that you could access Mr. Right is Dead because I had a really hard time getting a copy. When I looked it up, it was like, other works by that author. And this book popped up. I had never heard of it. And so I read the concept, and it's about working women in New York City and their relationships. And I just got like Sex and the City vibes, and I was so interested in it. And so they had it on Thrift Books, and I picked up a copy, and I'm so excited to be reading it. It's way longer than I thought. Mr. Right is Dead is a pretty short book, and it's short stories. So I didn't know Rona Jaffe wrote like thick books. Like this book is like 425 pages, and the font is tiny. So I was shocked when this book appeared. I was like, oh, like she writes like long stuff too. I'm so excited to read it. I don't care about length. But this, I think, is literally going to be the next book I read. I'm currently finishing a book, and I think this is going to be literally the next book I read. I'm so excited for it. So that is my next book. Okay, I have a coup. This was the book that I was not going to purchase anything until I saw this book, and I was like, no, I have to purchase. So I had been hearing a lot about this book, and I was like, you know what, I'm finally going to buy it. But the reason that I had not bought it was because you need to have read another book to understand it, which that always gets me. That always kills me with books. This is The Hours by Michael Cunningham. So you need to know Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf in order to read it, because I have not seen a ton of reviews on this because I keep getting it recommended to me, and I don't want to read anything to accidentally spoil this book. I don't know for sure, based on what I have seen, if Miss Dalloway is a character in this or if she is referenced heavily. So I don't know which one it is, but I know you need to know what Miss Dalloway is. And so I have not read that yet. And so I was trying to get it from my local library. I couldn't get it from my local library. And so I was like, oh, like maybe I'm just gonna have to buy like both the books, which I wasn't super interested in doing. I don't like buying books. And so I was on Thrift Books and I was scrolling and I saw this one and I was like, oh, that's such a beautiful cover. It immediately got me, the beautiful cover, and I clicked on the listing. And it turns out it's a duo book. Miss Dalloway, the book by Virginia Woolf, is on the back half. So you can read both the books in one. And I was so excited. This is like a coup for me. I was like, oh my God, 2 books in one. And so I ended up picking this up. I'm so excited to read this, especially since I don't really understand what it's about. But everyone's telling me, if you like these books, then you're gonna love this book. So it's time to read The Hours. So I'm so excited about this book. I think this one is definitely gonna be after I read The Best of Everything. So I'm very excited. Okay, this next one, the backstory is I was on Family Zoom. We do a Family Zoom like every week. And we were talking about TV shows that we've just watched. And I said, oh, I've just watched Sharp Objects. I really liked it. And my sister went, oh, did you read the book? And I was like, no. And she's like, you should read the book. Like, you should read it even though you've seen the show and you know the ending. And my sister does not steer me wrong. And so I picked up a copy of Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I have read Gone Girl and I loved Gone Girl. This is actually her debut novel. I thought they were flipped. I thought Gone Girl was her debut novel, but it turns out it's this one. And I am so excited to read it. Even though I know what the ending is, I still loved like the Southern Gothic elements that were in the TV show, and I know it's gonna be in the book. I was gonna say, I think it's gonna be in the book. I know it's gonna be in the book because Gillian Flynn is a phenomenal writer. I'm thinking of maybe doing a like October spooky book kind of video where I read like 3 kind of like thrillers or kind of spooky books. And I think I might use this one in there. I think that'd be really fun. So I picked up this book. I'm so excited to read it just because I really liked the TV show. And I know that the book is gonna live up to it. I know it. Okay, the final book that I purchased for myself is, I can't say the full title, but I will say half the title. It's In Praise of Difficult Women. It's by Elizabeth Wurtzel. So the way I found out about this book is kind of a weird way. I don't think it's a common way. So I was thinking about doing the Rory Gilmore reading challenge, and I was like looking at the list of all the books, and I was first of all like, there's too many books. And the second thing I was like, I think if I did this, it would kill my love for reading. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe not. I'll tell you guys my like little conspiratorial idea of maybe doing that eventually on this channel, but I'm gonna get back to why I picked this book. But when I was looking through it, this title stood out to me, obviously, and the list was like alphabetized that I was looking at, so it was like one of the first ones too. And so I read like the little description and was really interested in the book. And so I decided that I really wanted to read it. And so I went to my local library, typed it in, couldn't find it. I am guessing that is due to the title of this book. That has happened to me a couple of times where I've tried to pick up a book that had a profane title and they don't have it. And I'm guessing that's why this book was not carried at my local library. So I ended up just having to buy a copy so then I could own it. I'm really excited to read this though. I'm very pumped. Okay, so those are all the books that I purchased for myself, but I was recently gifted some books and I wanted to share them and share the story because it's got me giggling, kicking my feet. Okay, so I go to like a secondhand bookstore and they like give you credits if you sell books to them. And I had a bunch of credits. They emailed me and they were like, hey girl, you've got a bunch of credits. And that meant that I could get like, I think it was like 4 $20 books. So like, that's a great deal. And especially a lot of their books aren't $20. So like, that was awesome. And I was thinking about like, what should I get? And it occurred to me what I wanted to get. So a little bit more backstory. I know this story is like enveloping it on itself, but I recently watched an anime of a manga that I read when I was a kid. I read the manga when I was a kid. I would check the books out from the library, and I actually checked them out so much and like reread it so many times that my mom thought I had read multiple mangas, but it was the exact same one over and over and over again that I was just like, I had finished and then I would reread and recheck out from the library. So like my mom just thought I was reading like a ton of these, but it's the only one I've read. And I watched the anime recently. They like made a new anime of it. There was like an old anime when I was younger. There's a new one. And I had bought recently, like in the past couple of months, basically once I stopped my book buying ban, I bought the collector's edition of the first 2. And I was like, you know what? I should use these points to buy the next 4 books in the series. There's 12. There's 12 in the series. Or is there 12 or? Yeah, there's 12. I just had to check. And so I was like, I'll buy the next 4 and then like I'll get more points later for like my unhaul that I'm gonna do for the channel, and then I can buy the rest of the series. That was kind of like my plan. And so I like went to the store, had the 4 books. I was so excited. Went to go to use those points, and they were like, oh, like your account is, and they like said my husband's name. Like we need to have his ID to use the points. And I was like my husband's not here though. And so called my husband. He was like, okay, I'm gonna go after work tomorrow. And so that was the plan. He was gonna go to that bookstore, pick up those 4 books and buy them. And so he went the next day, went to that exact same bookstore, all 4 of them were gone. So he could not get them for me. And he called me and was like, hey, they're not here, so I can't get them for you. And I was like, oh, that stinks, but like, whatever, you know, like we can't make the books appear. And so he was like, okay, like I'll be home in like a couple of hours. He went on his like lunch break. And so he is coming home and he calls me and he goes, hey, I have a surprise for you, but you have to have your eyes closed when I come home. So we did that. He like sits me down for the surprise and I open my eyes and it is the entire rest of the series. It like makes me want to cry. He went to 4 different bookstores and bought me all of the rest of them, not just the 4 books that I was gonna get, but he bought me the entire series. And that is like the sweetest thing ever. And it was like unprompted. I thought it was so cute. It's Fruits Basket. I should say what the manga is. It's the Fruits Basket series. Oh my god, I'm gonna like lose the books. I can't do that. And so he got me 3 through 12, which is the rest of the series, because I had the first 2. And this is just like the cutest thing ever in the world, and it's so sweet and so kind, and I cannot imagine what he went through trying to get all these copies, because he had to go to he told me he had to go to 4 different stores to buy all the different like copies, because all the stores had different numbers in stock. And so it was just like the sweetest thing ever, and I wanted to share that on the channel that I got these books, because it's so nice. And so that's kind of all I have for today. These are the books that have recently come and joined my personal library, and I'm really excited to start this like kind of little series of shelf care, and I'm really excited for the unhauling video too. I think that will be really fun. To like have books leave my collection, but I'm really excited for these books that have recently joined it. Do I have anything else that I need to say? Oh, if you'd like to, you can follow the channel. I have no social media, so don't try and follow me. I don't have any accounts. You can follow me on Fable and join my book club there, which is called The New Romantics. It's a Taylor Swift themed book club, and I am hopefully having a video about Taylor Swift coming out in the next month or so. She announced an album, which was killing me, but I just wanted to show you guys those books, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.